Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the BLACKBIRD PLC investor presentation. Throughout this recorded presentation, investors will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged. They can be submitted at any time via the Q&A tab that's just situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. Please just simply type in your questions and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company will review all the questions submitted today and publish responses where it is appropriate to do so. Before we begin, I would like to submit the following poll, and as usual, if you could give that your kind attention, I'm sure the company would be most grateful. And I'd now like to hand you over to CEO Ian McDonough. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Jake. And good morning, everyone that's joined. Thank you very much for joining on an early morning, frosty morning. The reason we've called this more impromptu meeting, kind of mid reporting cycles, is because we have some very exciting news, which I'm sure you have read about, and we wanted to put a bit more context and color to it, so that you understand the significance for us. So we're really excited about this, and I think I hope you guys are too. It really changes the game for us in many ways. So it is related, of course, to the fact that we announced yesterday, the day before actually, EVS announced the launch of their new product, which has been designed with BLACKBIRD, in collaboration with BLACKBIRD, and using core BLACKBIRD technology. We talked about it yesterday in quite a lot of press interviews, and I really wanted to give you guys the full color of what it means in terms of us strategically going forward. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about EVS. And we talked about a global broadcast company back in September 2021, a broadcast manufacturing company. Now, EVS really are the gold standard Rolls-Royce of this live production industry. They are pretty much the world over really well known, renowned for this technology. I mean, one thing I'd say is, if you haven't already, just go and have a look at EVS's client base to understand the prestigious sports news networks that are on their roster. I mean, it really is the best of the best. They deliver content to billions of viewers every day, whether it's live content of sport, live content of news, live content of entertainment. All over the world, they're delivering content continuously, and this really puts us at the table with the big boys. They're headquartered in Liège, in Belgium, and I've been over there quite a number of times to spend time with them in the last 12 months or so. And our teams work extremely closely with the software development engineers at EVS. They have offices in North America, all across EMEA, and they operate in more than 100 countries globally. They're traded on the Euronext Brussels exchange. They currently have a market cap of around 310 million euro. They're forecast to bring in around 150 million euro, I think, of revenues this year. And interestingly, they are this year's winner of the Environmental Sustainability Award from the IABM. Actually, just behind me here is the 2021 IABM Environmental Sustainability Award, won, of course, by BLACKBIRD. So our values are very, very closely aligned with EVS, and of course, one of the major benefits that EVS's customers will get from having a powered by BLACKBIRD editing suite within their PAM is, of course, the environmental benefits and carbon reduction benefits. And they've just, of course, announced the launch of the IPD VIA Create piece of kit, which will be deeply embedded within their production asset management tool suite. That's their PAM that they refer to, which has been unveiled in New York, and quite safely say that it's been a resounding success of a launch, and we've had an awful lot of feedback and inquiries from some of the major names in the industry. Now, I'm going to let Steve just remind you of how the deal is structured.
Thanks, Ian. Good morning, everyone. So we announced back in September 2021 our first technology licensing deal. Obviously, now announcing that partner to be EVS. The deal is worth a minimum of 2 million euros over the 5-year term. It comprises of a development fee, which will all be recognised by in this year's numbers, as well as the piece that we recognised last year. Plus, now that we're going into sales mode through EVS, we will have a share of revenues from license fees, from the number of users, editor users for IPD via Create, the number of channel feeds that go in there, and a maintenance and support fee. Every year, our license fees are underpinned by minimum annual guarantees. We've already stated that this year that figure is 180,000 euros, and it rises to 340,000 euros in 2026. All of that, obviously, together with the development fee, forms the minimum value of 2 million euros. This is a classic OEM partner for us, or whatever, where we are leveraging, their sales team. So as Ian mentions, the size and scale of EVS previously, their sales teams will be selling this, and we are effectively receiving a royalty on the back of the sales that they make.
Great, thanks, Steve. So the significance for BLACKBIRD, well, this is the largest deal for the company to date, as I've stated earlier. I think what's really important, though, this is industry-wide recognition for the benefits of the patented technology that our esteemed colleague Stephen Streeter and his team have built over the years. This is the industry waking up to realize that the BLACKBIRD methodology, the BLACKBIRD way of creating content and publishing content is more efficient, is a better mousetrap, and is a better way to harness the value of not just the cloud, but also on premise. So one of the key things actually I should bring to your attention is that in this deal, most of EVS's customers are still on-prem. They're still on-premise, and they're still in CapEx hardware cycles. These CapEx hardware cycles are 10-year cycles. Now, what EVS have managed to gain through this licensing agreement is the pathway to have a cloud-ready system. So when EVS's customers, or I should say, if EVS's customers decide to move to the cloud, and the general move is that people are moving to the cloud, but the broadcast industry doesn't move quickly, then they have a cloud-ready solution. So this really shows the versatility of BLACKBIRD. So that where they've taken the core codecs and video libraries that surround those codecs, this software to begin with is going to be in private networks, in private clouds, behind firewalls, on-prem. So really interesting that we've got a big demonstration here of the fact that BLACKBIRD is a better mousetrap on-prem, and it will move to the cloud. So this is obviously with EVS's leverage in the industry, their reputation in the industry, their resources, and their sales teams, as Steve just pointed out, their offices in 11 countries around the world. This is a huge opportunity for us to have deep penetration in the sports and news production industry. I mean, I think the other thing to really kind of highlight here is that this isn't a game of pontoon, where people are making quick moves and jumping, saying twist, tick or twist. This is a long-term game of chess. And what EVS have done here is they have made a very long 10-year plus chess move to not only have the opportunity to upsell to their base that would have been sold by traditional NLEs. They've also got the opportunity to gain market share, because this is unique. This solution that EVS has within the production asset management tool is unique. It doesn't exist in the big competitors that you all know, the Rosses or the Grass Valleys or the Delettes. They don't have this solution. So there is a big opportunity here for EVS with the Power by BLACKBIRD solution to gain market share. Obviously, brand recognition is huge for us. This is a massive platform for us to talk about. We are talking about it continually right now. That we're incredibly proud of this tie-up. And I say this is a long-term tie-up. Really excited from that point of view. And of course, there's upside potential, not just from the fact that we're going to have EVS upselling to their base, and their base is hundreds of customers, but also that they're going to be able to gain market share, as I mentioned before. There is a rollout going on at present. I know that I'm going to get asked the identity of that customer. I can't tell you. I'm not allowed to tell you. I'd love to tell you, but I can't. But a lot of the deal that Steve referred to in terms of the minimum guarantee is underpinned by that one customer. So there's lots of potential here for upside as the product gains traction and is rolled out further. Now, I also wanted to call this meeting this morning because I've been getting a lot of emails and questions directly through other means about news flow, and I really want just to remind everybody of the strategic direction that Blackbird is on, and that has been fairly consistent. But I just wanted to kind of just remind you guys of it. So it's really three things. And you remember my three balls that I generally show? Well, I'm not showing the three balls this time. I'm just putting it as bullet points, but it's the same thing. But really focusing on strategic deals for global scale. These are the direct deals. These are the infrastructure deals that you always see in the smaller circle on the left. They do come around less frequently because they just have higher bars to jump over. We have more hoops to jump through to get those deals, but we're in conversations with some of the largest companies in the industry. We're also going to be, and this deal and the second bullet point here really highlights, I think, the potential of this, leveraging and scale partners. This is a massive boost for the company in terms of its credibility, in terms of its awareness, and I think that we see the opportunity to leverage through the biggest partners in the industry to make Blackbird a standard for the way that content is created and published in the market. Just to remind you, there are no exclusivities on this deal. There are no restrictions on this deal. We can talk to virtually everybody there is, whether it's competitors of EVS or whether it's other parts of the media supply chain. And again, a quick reminder that we raised money in December 2021 to work on a glass-to-glass product, a self-service model, high availability SaaS solution of our own. So not only will we be the engine for these companies in the market, we also want to address a wider market with a self-service model where we see there is opportunity to do so. So just a quick reminder: the deal is uncapped. As EVS is successful, then Blackbird will be successful. So it's really in our interest to get behind them on this. They deal in long-term cycles. Blackbird is going to be around certainly within these companies for a very long time. They are 10-year cycles, 10-year capex cycles. Of course, that may well change gradually as the broadcast industry moves more to an OpEx model in the cloud. But again, Blackbird is going to be there because we're that cloud-ready solution. We're really at the table with the big boys here. We're getting an awful lot of visibility through being strategically aligned, strategically bonded to a major player, the Rolls-Royce, with a fantastic reputation as EVS. And I would just, again, for your own amusement and excitement, have a look at their customer base, because what you see in their customer base will really be where you'll see Blackbird deeply embedded within their technology stacks. We're going to be there, and we're going to be a significant part of how that global sports, that global news content is being created. So I hope that answers a lot of the questions I might get, but please feel free to submit some questions, and I can answer what I can answer.
Ian, that's great. And Stephen as well. Thank you very much indeed for your presentation this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, please do continue to submit your questions just by using the Q&A tab that's situated on the top right-hand corner of your screen. But just while the team take a few moments to review those questions that were submitted already, I would like to remind you that a recording of this presentation, along with a copy of the slides and the published Q&A, can be accessed via your investor dashboard. Ian, Steve, we did receive a number of pre-submitted questions ahead of today's event. And as you can see there in the Q&A tab, we've also received a number of questions throughout your presentation this morning as well. So firstly, thank you to everyone on the call for taking the time to submit their questions. And Ian, perhaps I could hand back to you just to run through the Q&A tab to respond to those questions where it's appropriate to do so. And then I'll pick up from you at the end. Thank you.
Thanks, Jake. Of course. Okay, so I'll be question master here, and I'll decide whether to go to Steve or Stephen as we go through. So first one will be from me. Why has the board of directors stopped communicating with shareholders? I mean, we haven't. We communicate when there's news, and the news is really much more strategic, as I I trust you can see from the nature of this particular deal. And when we have news around these strategic deals, we'll definitely be informing you. So second question, there was talk of a second Powered by Blackbird hot on the heels of the first. Is that still the case? As I mentioned in the presentation, we're in talks with some of the major players in the industry. The proof in the pudding has been made here with the launch of this product. And so when we have firm news on a second Powered by Blackbird model, we will certainly announce that. But we are in discussions with a number of players. Congratulations on achieving the partnership with EVS. Thank you very much. Please explain how this achievement in full view of the marketplace will assist Blackbird to gain greater market penetration. I hope I've covered that in the short presentation that I did. But really, we're an integral part of a platform that will be rolled out to a very significant part of the industry. So I don't know how much more emphasis to put on that, but if you think about it in a way, the EVS deal, the Powered by Blackbird deal with EVS, it's like a long-term annuity. We're going to be enjoying, should the product be successful, of course, everybody's got to, there's always some risk to that, of course, but as I explained, this is a product that's been accepted by one of the major players in the media industry. Again, I can't say who it is, but believe me, you'll know their name, which is a great first step. And as it gets accepted as being the standard in the industry, that this integrated model is the way things will be done, then we will gain that market penetration. The fact that we can also talk to other players freely about the solution that we've got, I think is going to add to that too. We understand that EVS is currently rolling out to a big US broadcaster. What proportion of EVS's 500 customers do you expect will want to use Blackbird, and what effect would this have on the guaranteed minimum annual revenue under the partnership? It's a great question. And yes, correct, it is rolling out to a big US broadcaster. We can't say the name of it. There is a significant number of editors within that company. And so, a good portion of the MG is covered within that one customer. If you ask me about penetration within the base, that's not something I can take a flying forecast at right now. But I would say that I think this product will be very popular. Just actually one thing I didn't talk about was the benefits of the actual product. I think I've talked about it EVS talked about it in the press release. I mean, this is revolutionary in terms of how much time and speed and cost, benefits will come from this. If you think about live sports and how every millisecond counts in terms of getting value from the content, this revolutionizes how that's done. This is a technique now where they can edit while capturing. So as soon as that content's coming in, they're going to be editing the content and turning it around to go to all the other broadcast areas, whether it's social or whether it's OTT, VOD, back to the broadcast channels, whatever it be, they can turn that around really quickly. Every second counts and every second has value in the half-life of a sports or news content. So we think it will be extremely popular. There's also, of course, the carbon benefits and the cost benefits that come with the fact you don't have to download all this content, upload it to another system, work on that system, then re-upload it to the original system. You can imagine how this is going to revolutionize the workflow. Okay, next question. Please provide some clarity over work in progress currently being carried out at Blackbird, and where do you expect this to lead in terms of new business? So I gave a bit of a hint on the last slide there that we are indeed working on a number of different areas. I think the most exciting area that we're working on is in our the platform that we would like to look at launching in 2023, which is our own self-service, high availability Blackbird SaaS model. So look out for that, but it's too early to give too much detail on that at this stage. Stephen, though, I think that it would be nice, maybe you want to give a bit of color on Blackbird 10?
Oops. Yes, I can talk a bit about Blackbird 10. So I've been looking at this for a while, as many of you will know, but we haven't really had demand for it in our traditional market for offline editing because they have everything they need in Blackbird 9. Most of them don't push that anywhere near the limit of Blackbird 9. But I'm now working on Blackbird 10, and that will help power our new products as well. And one of the key benefits is that it will have much higher resolution than we currently have for our proxy. And so, as well as being lower data rate and much more efficient, it will also allow us to publish in our own format if we choose to do so, which hasn't been a requirement in broadcast where they always publish, in standard formats. But for the internet, it's a real possibility. So we'll have Blackbird 10 demos coming out throughout the year, and it'll be included in our products.
Thanks, Stephen. Great stuff. Right, another pre-submitted question. Great news regarding EVS of how our Blackbird announcement. However, we need more like this. Are we close to signing any more deals and discussions? I'll do a John Major here and refer to my earlier point that we will let you know as soon as we have some, and of course we would like to have some. Blackbird recently hit a share price of 40p. Is there a price which you would consider a sale of the company? Well, yes, there is a price I've dreamt about. I'm not going to reveal it here, but I've always said that this company should be a unicorn, and I won't shy away from that. I will not shy away from that. And I think this gives a massive boost to our confidence in terms of how it can do that, because the industry at large is accepting Blackbird as a standard, and that is how those kind of valuations start to come about. We'll find out the name of the US company now we know EVS, or will this always stay secret, as it happened with when Tata we're not told of the company. Okay, I get it. Thank you, Richard. We thought we could announce it this time. We were ready to, and then certain things happened around major sporting events and other things where it wasn't signed off in time. So I really, although no guarantees because it's out of my control, I would think that you will get the identity of this customer shortly, sometime. I would think in the first half of the next year. But I do wish I could tell you, but it's just not in my control. Given the suggestions of large customer win for the product already, do you think that the revenue generator for this customer would already exceed this year's minimum guarantee of 180,000? I can't really say any more than the fact it's a significant part of it, but I think it would be. I can't say any more than that. That's as far as I can go. How is Tata progressing or not? Honestly, it's not. Tata has been disappointing in terms of its progression. But what I would say is that the value that we were bringing to the Tata stack around editing in situ and editing during capture, edit while capture, is exactly the same values that we're bringing now to EVS. So what's encouraging, I think, about this is that EVS have shown the industry the way this works, the way that this can scale. So Tata were not successful in doing that, or have not yet been successful in doing that. But I think this is really encouraging in the sense that EVS has laid out a path how it works. Ian, in your March 2022 video, you suggested that the rest of the year would bring more Powered by Blackbird deals. What happened, and when can we expect them? They take a while. I won't lie, they take a while, and we've been working with the software engineers at EVS and the commercial teams at EVS for over a year to get this done. But what you will see here is although it takes a while to get them in, it takes an awful long time for them ever to come out again. We're deeply embedded now in this part of the stack, and as I have earlier said, these are working on 10-year cycles. So although we have a 5-year deal in place with EVS, and remember our previous longest term deal was a 5-year deal with the financial news organization. These are really long term. I fully expect that 5-year deal will be extended significantly because we're deeply embedded in these many companies. Well, will be many companies over time. Why do you think the current share price is good value? I think because I think it should be a lot higher. I think we should be a unicorn, and I think that as I again doing the John Major thing. Apologise, but as I said earlier, we are becoming known. We're becoming a standard. We're becoming recognised, credible, etc. All that kind of stuff is happening on a big scale, on a really big scale, with the top tier, top companies in the industry. Great update. Thank you, Sam. On the back of this, do you think you'll see an acceleration of interest from similar organizations? I'm not in their boardrooms and talking to them, but I'm certainly in contact with many of them. So yeah, hopefully. When can we look forward to a deal with Veritone? Well, Veritone, that's a good question actually, because Veritone is an aggregator of AI, and certainly AI is a very, very hot subject right now, right across the industry. AI, when it comes to editing, goes far, far beyond speech to text and text to speech. It can be shot selection and noise recognition, and lots of different areas. So it's not just Veritone that I think that we'll be talking to in the AI area, but some of our major partners that you guys know of, the likes of Microsoft and others, really have best of breed, best in class AI solutions as well. And cognitive services and machine learning is certainly something that we will see as a feature in anything that we're launching ourselves. So it's certainly a hot topic. It's something that we're right across and watch this space. A number of well-known, highly trusted broadcast companies such as Avid, Grass Valley, Ross, and of course EVS have all developed media production platforms running apps and services hybrid cloud. Is the market shifting into the age of production platform rather than individual apps on a cloud service provider? Are customers looking for complete end-to-end solutions rather than a standalone cloud editor? It's difficult to answer that as the industry as a whole. I think the synchronicities of the industry are sometimes down to the individual CTOs. They will have their own flavors and their own ways of doing things, and sometimes they'll want it all from one vendor, and sometimes they'll want to have 25 vendors in the media supply chain. It's difficult to say, Nick, whether there's a move this way or that. What there is a move to, especially during these more troubled times economically, is to make the media supply chain as efficient as possible. That's what every CTO is really trying to do, but they will have different ideas about how that can be achieved. It's like anything, I guess. People sometimes like to have a combined system and sometimes like to have an individual separate system. What we can just keep saying is that our system is the most efficient. Our system is the highest functionality. Our system is the highest quality. It's the fastest, etc. So, that's always important to the CTO. Which element of the technology makes you most excited? Stephen, I'm going to refer to you on this one because I think there's so many new things that you're working on that I think you can probably cover off this one pretty well.
Well, I think if in a word, it's flexibility. So we've got a really solid core technology, and we've applied it in various areas, and everywhere we apply it, it works really well from a technical point of view. And now we're starting to get companies who own their markets essentially who are starting to use it, and we're starting to look ourselves at much bigger audiences. So I think flexibility is the key here.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. There's another question about Tata here. I think I've answered the question about Tata. It's there's still a company that we think very highly of, and I think hopefully there's a path through to them being able to leverage the benefits of Blackbird, but it's not happening just at the moment. Have we won any other contracts, small direct, e.g. Gfinity, since the last announcement, or have these dried up now your focus has shifted? I think the focus for us really is on with our a sales team like we have a pre-sales team and 3 very highly competent sales staff, senior sales staff, who can really close big deals like this one we did with EVS. So we think it's in the benefit of the shareholders, and of course that everyone on this call is a shareholder. to really look for these long-term strategic deals where once they're in, and the ongoing maintenance and attention is not so high. Once this system is in EVS, our sales team won't really be involved. So it's getting these deals up and running, and then reaping the benefits. That's where we really got the focus. When is Codec 10 coming out? As Stephen said, it's being worked on, and you'll see demos of this through the year. Stephen, is that right?
That's right. It's really waiting for the product that really needs it and the market, and that will be next year, we think.
Yeah. No, not we think. It will be next year.
It will be next year.
Could we update on any timetable for 2023? Is it public cloud, Codec 10, the player, in terms of when 2023 these might be expected? The three things that I mentioned on this particular slide that you're looking at, they're the three things that we're working on. So that's 2023 and beyond. EVS is a larger company, but it only has a market cap of 350. As you've stated, what does this imply regarding Blackbird's value? You're one small part of their many offerings. Well, first of all, it's not exclusive. Secondly, it's a gold standard, and the way that EVS is valued is a different way than I would say that Silicon Valley companies are valued. They're valued as a value stock. They have 10-year cycles. They are a capex company, and so their market cap reflects that. People will buy EVS, I think, for income rather than for growth. However, this is an incredible stage, incredible showcase for us to show how we're a standard for this industry and beyond. We've always talked about the media and entertainment industry as being just one small part of the video industry, but it is the most prestigious part. So it's the top of the mountain, and if you're proven at the top of the mountain, then it should be much more amenable to access the rest of the mountain, which is larger in terms of scale. With EVS, with EVS, is the codec only being used in the IPD via Create, or is it being used as wider IPD via applications? It isn't. It is used in the IPD via Create in this instance. So not across the PAM. It's in the editing solution. However, and I got asked this question by Colin actually at the AGM, so I think it's probably on here somewhere. When I was asked, is EVS the tech licensing partner, or are they an OEM? Well, actually, they're both, and I couldn't give you the name of EVS at the time, but I was correct in saying it's an OEM. So we did the Winter and Summer Games with EVS as a partner in the integration sense rather than the deeply embed. So we are not used in terms of our codec and video libraries outside of via Create, but we do have integrations with EVS's other tool sets like IPD and Media Hub. 2 million euros is welcome, but not transformative in Blackbird's finances. With severely depressed share price at present, we need significant new revenues in 2023. Well, Howard, correct. We do, and we're working on that. Paul, given the significant US dollar income, does Blackbird hedge currencies? Steve?
No, we don't actually hedge currencies at the moment. As you can see in our annual reports, it's too small at this stage, but it's something that we monitor. We do have an FX trading platform, and we don't keep dollars, surplus dollars in dollars for too long, so that we try to minimise our FX risk.
Okay, interesting question from Jeff, and it gives me the opportunity to kind of restate what I said in the presentation here. Jeff says, does EVS continue to sell and support its traditional on-prem solution to its customers? Trying to get a sense of the extent to which they're all in with the Blackbird cloud solution. Does EVS... so I'll answer that first of all. So we are on-prem and we're in the cloud. We're a cloud-ready solution. So there is no restrictions to EVS rolling out IPD via Create to their entire base, whether they're on-prem or in the cloud. So that's hugely exciting. And again, it shows the versatility and the power of the Blackbird technology that it is competing on an on-prem basis. So this is where they've taken the video libraries and the codec that's the core of that, and this is in private networks behind firewalls within these big media organizations. So they're all in, and they signed up a minimum guarantee to show that too. Does EVS commercialize any competing cloud solutions? Competing in the sense that they are like the likes of Adobe Premiere. If the customer wants Adobe Premiere, which as we know is not an efficient system to put in the cloud, then EVS wouldn't stand in their way. But it's not an integral part of their platform. We are the integral part of their platform. That is the third-party vendor that they, like anyone, would give the opportunity to purchase if they wanted to. Will the creator economy products be developed to be sold B2C or B2B, direct to creators, or instead to platforms that they use? It's a little early to give you full color on this one. We are developing the plan as we speak, and once that color becomes more firm and we can share it, we will share it. It's very exciting though. Are Blackbird currently selling B2B any products in development ahead of their completion, or would you start selling them only once complete? That's a great question. A little bit of both. I mean, we sold this one before it was complete. We had to go and work for 12 months with EVS's software development engineers to do this. So yes, this was sold ahead of time. When you're selling a finished product, it's generally the other way around. They generally want to see the product before they buy it. EVS understood that this was going to take some prep time, and we got a development fee for that. In terms of EVS's performance with this new product, will you be updating that only on a half-yearly basis, or will you be able to tell the industry when they might occur? We will update on the half year. How that takes off. We'll be the partner that has to be told by the customer here how, if EVS win a major customer and they get permission from that customer to announce it, then great, and we will announce it to you. But it's not going to be our gift. We are an embedded piece of technology here, we're not owning this customer. EVS owns this customer. What is the major resistance from signing up new partners given time, speed, benefits of the product? The industry is it's a game of chess. They will take their time and deliberate and cogitate over decisions. There are huge advantages. Sometimes the delay is because we're not at the right time of that 10-year cycle, as I talked about earlier, and sometimes it's awareness, sometimes it's credibility. That's why this is such a major deal for us, because it's both awareness and credibility. But we're still the challenger brand, although we are multi-award winning and we've got a high profile and we're winning these big deals like we're talking about today. But we haven't been in the market as long as Avid. We haven't been in the market as long as Adobe, or in fact EVS or Grass Valley or the others. I mean, we're still an upstart. And I know that you say that the company's around for 20 years. Well, the company in terms of Blackbird is only been around just a few years. I recently got told by a major player in the industry that I thought it was a very interesting move that I made in 2018 to rebrand the company and rebrand the platform, because everyone suddenly thought this is a startup, but this was incredibly reliable, incredibly slick, incredibly powerful startup. So I think that it did well for us. But in terms of our brand reputation, it's still pretty new. Okay, you talked about targeting the independent creator market. How do you expect to be able to gain market share in an already saturated market where many of these independent customers are fearful of change? Well, not to give too much detail about this, because as I said, we're still working on the plan, and once the color comes through, we will give it to you. But we see a market gap. We like we do in our media and entertainment industry, we see a market gap where it's not being fulfilled by current offerings out there, and that's why we are excited about it. Can you speak of the new deal with the financial news organization and whether there was a material expansion? There has been an expansion within that organization, and we continue to talk to them. They continue to enjoy the software. I can't say too much more than that. I think I have to wait for the full year results on that one. Can you update any further on the partnerships with the likes of Evertz, MediaKind, and TVU? In the sense that well, Evertz is quite nascent, but MediaKind and TVU are a little more advanced, and I think they're in good shape. I think this credibility boost that we've got from this announcement over the last couple of days really helps that. They're active partnerships that we want to give more energy to. Are the directors currently unable to buy shares? I can't say that because that would negate the whole point of the fact that we can't buy shares. Okay, I'm not going to say anything about that one. I'm going to just get myself in trouble. Stephen Streeter, you're still my hero. Grant, this wouldn't be a presentation without that kind of comment. He's still my hero too, and I think everyone in the company. Steve, do you want to answer that one, Stephen?
Well, thanks very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, why do you feel more football clubs are not using Bird, given everything being said about sport, social media, speed to market? I think this is about route to markets, David. We really want to get to a point where, like this deal today, we want to hit sectors and hit them big. Yeah, I think it's probably about how much attention and meetings we can have with individual football clubs, but we want to try and attack market sectors. I would think actually through this very deal that many football clubs will indeed be using Bird. Will BLACKBIRD receive revenue from all EVS MediaCeption signature customers, given that IPDV Create is now part of that solution, regardless of whether they're IPDV or not? So to clarify, this is a revenue share of IPDV Create revenue, and therefore that is a part of the MediaCeption signature platform. It is something that is if they want an editing suite from EVS, then that we will get revenue share. If they want an editing suite, inefficient as it is, from another traditional NLE, then and they don't choose the Via Create, then we wouldn't get a revenue share. Okay, that's clear, Dan. Can you mention the house broker or consensus forecasts for turnover, PBT, and EPS? Steve, is this a question for you?
Yeah, we don't currently give out forecasts and everything. Obviously, we continually monitor that, and you'll be the first to hear when things change.
Ken, no comment as to the previous email. The previous question. Sorry about that. Nick B, does this development with EVS help make the BLACKBIRD 10 player with its extra features become established in distribution of? Does this development with EVS help make the BLACKBIRD 10 player with extra features become established in the distribution of sports fan-based content? Wonder if there's a positive connection here. Stephen, do you want to pick that one up?
Well, the technology is capable of that, but the product decisions are made by EVS. So you'll have to ask them how they want to use the product. I will just say that obviously as a strategic technology for EVS, they do have access to the upgrades we do to the core technology. And they specifically insisted on that. So they will have access to BLACKBIRD 10 when it comes out.
Yeah. Richard, when will the player become more available? The player is certainly something that will become evident in 2023. As part of the new iteration of BLACKBIRD that we're working on, Richard. Colin, it's a little hard to get a sense of what proportion of EVS product set this represents. Will it be nice to have an add-on, or will it be nice to have an add-on, or likely to be something central to its core offering? Colin, I don't think even EVS know this yet, so it's a bit difficult for me to give details on this call. However, it's got huge advantages, performance and cost and time advantages within it. So that's what their sales team will be leveraging within the conversations they will have with their hundreds of customers over the next years, not just next year, but in the next years. So it's difficult for me to give a number to that, because I'm pretty sure that if I asked EVS directly, they wouldn't know yet. It's a wait and see, and hope that it gets immediate traction. Again, the fact that a gold standard US broadcaster has taken it right out off the shelf and is rolling it out right now is a very good sign. Is there an imminent likelihood of another big announcement in the near future? Thank you, Richard. Nice try. Can't tell you any more details than I've already told you earlier, but certainly we would certainly like that. Philip, superb open presentation. Thank you all very much. Philip, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the comment. Chris, our earnings for the year on target so far. Apologies, this was answered earlier. I was late to the meeting. We will announce the full year numbers when we announce them, Chris, which will be at the usual times of year next year. Good. I hope that has answered everyone's questions, or any more. Please let us know. It's been a pleasure to talk to you this morning, and we don't go silent. We just wait for the meaty news to tell you. So that's the explanation behind that. Jake, back over to you.
Ian, Stephen, thank you very much indeed for being so generous with your time then, addressing all of those questions that came in from investors this morning. And of course, if there are any further questions that do come through, we'll make these available to you immediately after the presentation has ended for you to review, to then add any additional responses, of course, where it's appropriate to do so. Ian, perhaps before redirecting those on the call to provide you with their feedback, which I know is particularly important to yourself and the company, if I could please just ask you for a few closing comments to wrap up with, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think just to close off, that this is a different. This is an inflection point for us in terms of scale. It's an inflection point for us in terms of prestige and our own reputation and credibility in the market. We're at the table with the big boys. We're in a long-term deal here, where the most prestigious names in the industry are likely to be penetrated by Blackbird technology, and I think that's a really exciting time for me as a shareholder. For the directors as shareholders, and I hope for you guys as shareholders. Thank you very much.
Ian, that's great. And Stephen as well, thank you once again for updating investors this morning. Could I please ask investors not to close this session, as you'll now be automatically redirected for the opportunity to provide your feedback in order that the management team can better understand your views and expectations. This won't take a few moments to complete, but I'm sure will be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the management team of Blackbird PLC, we would like to thank you for attending today's presentation. That now concludes today's session, so good morning to you all.